Incoming bracket!
Number 9 is a risky decision, for sure, but I think if anyone can pull this off, it's Steven Spielberg, and that's West Side Story. West Side Story, the original, is good. Won Best Picture, but Steven Spielberg, I love it when directors go outside their comfort zone, and I've seen every Steven Spielberg movie, and I've never seen a musical from him. And that's why I'm so excited for this movie, because I'm like, I wonder if he can pull off a musical. So I'm really excited for that alone. Sure, the original's good. I know some people might be up in arms because it is beloved. But here's the thing. I don't love the movie. I respect it. I think it's good filmmaking. But it's not one of those movies where I think like, oh, it's untouchable. I feel like Steven Spielberg could bring, signature touches to it. And who knows, make it even better. So that's why it's my number 9.
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is, of course, my review for the 2021 musical film, West Side Story. So West Side Story is obviously a remake of the 1961 film. This was a movie that, as you guys saw with the intro, I was very much so looking forward to in 2020. But obviously the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic hit and unfortunately got pushed back a year. So that anticipation got dampened a bit because, again, I had to wait an extra year. But this is a Steven Spielberg film. Steven Spielberg, obviously, the same Private Ryan, Lincoln, Munich, among many other movies. He's one of my favorite directors. I think that he is consistently providing us as audiences, at least at the bare minimum, really good filmmaking and entertainment value. I think that he has a lot of underrated work too, such as like War of the Worlds, Catch Me If You Can. But he's a director that I consistently find myself saying, yeah, he does great movies. But one of the things about West Side Story that's interesting is that, for those of you that don't know, it's one of his favorite movies. So him directing a movie that is obviously a remake of it, I was curious about that. But I will say this, despite all this anticipation, once the trailer dropped, that anticipation got dwindled quite a bit. I felt like the trailer didn't really seem that interesting visually speaking. The color palette seemed very bland. And also the actor. For some reason, I didn't know Anzo Elgort was the lead actor. But when I saw that, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But again, I try not to judge a movie based on obviously the trailer and actually the movie itself. So I still went in with an open mind, especially when I started hearing a lot of buzz, a lot of Oscar buzz in terms of also, hey, a lot of times people are saying that the critics, they're really raving about it. So I was saying to myself, I don't really know. I'm curious about going into this movie. But the other thing was that when I saw the 1961 West Side Story, this was like a long time ago, but when I saw it, I really liked it. I really quite enjoyed it, and I highly regarded it. It's why, if you watch a lot of my videos in terms of the Oscars, I say that I really enjoyed it. But I did rewatch it in preparation for the 2021 film, and I can't lie, just watching it, it wasn't as interesting for me. The first 20 minutes or so was really engaging, but as the movie progressed, it got less and less interesting, and I can't lie, I felt to be quite dull an experience. But that being said, despite it being great filmmaking and overall just a kind of a dull experience, I will say that what that made me say in my mind was, hey, this remake, it could actually be a good remake. It could be better than the original. And it's also the rare instance where it could be warranted. So I, again, tried to go open mind. And I will say that overall, I think that this is a solid film. It's not amazing. It's not bad. It's a movie that follows the original very heavily. And your proclivity towards if that's something that you will like or dislike, it will also depend on if you like the movie itself. Because if you are fine with the movie following the beats of the original beat for beat, then you're going to like this movie. But if you are someone like myself where you kind of take issue with that, then you might have issues with this movie. But I will say this. The movie is quite entertaining. The first 20 minutes, just like the original, are amazing. It's just incredible. It really immerses us as audiences. Performances were fine. I mentioned Anzo Elgort. He actually did a good job. I thought that the performances overall from everyone was really good. Good usage of vocals from all, not going to lie. Also, the cinematography, really good. I really got used to the cinematography, the color palette very early on, honestly. It was one of those things where it caught me off guard where I was like, oh, yeah, this actually looks really good. I don't know why I didn't think it was going to be visually appealing. But it is. It's a good different take on the original one, because the original has such a bright color palette. This one, not so much. So I thought that that was really something that was nice to differentiate between the two. Costume design is really good. Production design, makeup, these are all things that it definitely could get Oscar nominations because it is visually appealing in those regards. The other thing I wanted to mention is that here and there are things that I did like in terms of, certain scenes, certain elements, certain musical numbers. Like the musical numbers, especially early on, are really effective. But I will say this, again, for me personally, this review, I'm going to keep it short. I found myself to be not engaged in the middle part. And this is something that it could just be the material itself. but this was the same case with the original. I would say that the remake is slightly better than the original. But what I will say is that both movies are very similar in regards to the actual story, plot, and character development. Similar to the original character development, this is focused on a romance. And the romance, unfortunately, isn't really that fleshed out. It's there, but not much is really done with it, unfortunately. Again, the length, I really felt the length, man. I really did. Like, I felt the 2.5 hour runtime. I didn't want to because, again, I thought that I was going to really enjoy this movie, but I felt the pacing just was very bumpy. And it was just something that overall, I wasn't a big fan of West Side Story. Like, I think it's solid. I think that the filmmaking definitely is what makes it hold up, but I don't see myself loving this movie and rewatching it many, many more times. It's a rock solid musical. It's got some good stuff. I would say I'd give it a light recommendation, something that I could see people enjoying. But for myself, I will say that West Side Story is a 3.5 out of 5-star rating. For those a hot sauce rating, gets the good old Texas Speed hot sauce rating. So yeah, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on West Side Story. Did you like it? Did you not? And if you did like it or if you did not, let me know if you've read the either the play or obviously seen the movie prior. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys, down below. And as always, with the subscription notification button, I'll catch you guys later.